Go.
We're here today with Ramses Flores. So tell us, Ramses, why are you on the show today?
Well, the thing is, I'm going to test my friend Braden on how he would act on a suicidal situation.
So here's how it's going to go down. We're going to have Ramses show up to lunch late and say that he got caught up dealing with a friend. Let's see how he takes it.
Man, where is this guy? It's 1 o'clock. He was supposed to be here 30 minutes ago.
Hey man, I'm so sorry. I was dealing with something.
Don't worry about it, man. Is everything okay?
Not really. I have this friend, she's considering suicide.
No way, man. That's awful. What are you going to do?
I have no idea. What would you do?
It's a tough situation. I mean, I guess I just do my best to help her and be there for her. I mean, if you're a friend for a reason, and God's putting you in this situation so you can help her.
Dang, so you try to stop her, help her out?
Yeah, I'm sure if you do your best and look up some scripture, you could probably give that to her and help her out a lot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks for helping me, man.
No problem.
Sorry.
Well, congrats, Braden. You chose what was morally correct.
Thank you. Being a Catholic made the decision easy for me, and I was able to use what I know and what I've learned throughout my life to help her.
It's good.
The Bible views suicide as equal to murder. It's basically self-murder. God is the only one who can decide when and how a person should die. Suicide is ungodly because it rejects God's gift of life. According to the Bible, suicide is a sin. Suicide is not the greatest sin, however, it does have deep and lasting impact on those left behind. The suicide of Samson in the Bible has posed a greater problem for Christian theologians. Both St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas wrestled with the case and concluded that Samson's suicide was justified as an act of obedience to a direct command of God, as it says in Psalms 31:15, "My times are in your hands."
The authoritative Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraphs 2280 to 2283, makes the following points about suicide. Everyone is responsible for his life before God who has given it to him. It is God who remains the sovereign master of life. We are obliged to accept life gratefully and preserve it for his honor and the salvation of our souls. We are stewards, not owners, of life God has entrusted to us. It is not ours to dispose of it. Suicide contradicts the natural inclination of the human being to preserve and perpetuate his life. It is gravely contrary to the just love of self. It likewise offends love of neighbor because it unjustly breaks the ties of solidarity with family, nation, and other human societies to which we continue to have obligations. Suicide is contrary to the love for the living God. If suicide is committed with the intention of setting an example, especially to the young, it also takes on the gravity of scandal. Voluntary cooperation in suicide is contrary to the moral law. Grave psychological disturbances, anguish, or grave fear of hardship, suffering, or torture could diminish the responsibility of the one committing suicide. We should not despair of the eternal salvation of persons who have taken their own lives. By ways known to Him alone, God can provide the opportunity for solitary repentance. The Church prays for persons who have taken their own lives.
Virtues and vices. The more objective of the situation is suicide. Usually the intention is to control the time and circumstances of their death to end their life. The circumstances include when. So after a great deal of premeditation and before they have spoken to their family to say goodbye. Who? This affects who they're related to and who they're leaving behind. Objectivism holds that life is the ultimate value.
He's not. He left off.
All values derive from self-generated and self-sustaining actions of living things. Moral values derive from one's choice to embrace life and happiness, rather than suffering and death. In this context, morality is not merely a guide for action, it is a guide for living. A vice is something immoral or wicked behavior. Since suicide is going against the Bible, in our Christian views, it can be seen as a vice.
Life is truly a blessing, and we're all blessed to live every day. Here are some important things to remember when contemplating suicide. The solution to despair and hopelessness is not suicide, but faith in God. Christ promises that He will give us rest from our problems. Tell someone, tell your parents, your brother or sister, your teacher or school counselor, your pastor or youth minister that you are thinking about suicide. If a friend tells you that he or she is serious about suicide, then you need to tell someone who is responsible and can help. Accept God's free gifts of eternal life and salvation. If you haven't already, Romans 10:13 says, "For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." When we accept Christ, God gives us a brand new life and sees us as completely holy and righteous. Because of God's salvation, due to the death of Jesus on the cross, we can have assurance of eternal life with God. I will tell the truth. Whoever hears my word and believes Him who sent me has eternal life, and will not be condemned. He has crossed over from death to life. John 5, verse 24. If you or someone you know is contemplating suicide, please call the suicide line, 1-800-273-8255. This is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It is open 24 hours a week, 7 days a week. They speak both English and Spanish. Help is there, please use it. Depression is the number one sign of suicide. Please look at symptoms and signs of depression so you can help a loved one.